Well, folks, we have got some big news out of Kansas. The state of Kansas, lawmakers have overrid a veto from the Democrat governor, Laura Kelly, to put a ban on transition care for people under the age of 18 in the state of Kansas. It was something that was overwhelmingly supported by the state legislator. This is basically puts it, they were one of the few states that are left that have a Republican-controlled legislator that did not have laws like this in place. So obviously, the Democrat governor vetoed the bill. They've been trying to do this. The state legislator's been trying to do this for a number of years. Just didn't have a veto-proof majority at the time to make it happen. But now they do. And they got it taken care of. That will ban gender transition treatments for minors. But before we dig into all of this, bring you all the breaking news from it, we just want to let you know how much we appreciate all of our new subscribers at the channel right now, and we would love it if you would become you would be the next subscriber to join our channel. Drop down below, hit that subscribe button, make sure that you never miss another update or video from us again in the future. Now, obviously, this has been a long time goal of many Republicans and conservatives, like we said, joining about half of the country's states in enacting bans or very, very sharp limits on gender transition surgeries or sex change procedures or chemical, the use of chemicals to allow that to happen on these procedures. Kansas had a bill, had a broad support from Republicans, but obviously had opposition from the governor, who said it was, quote, disappointing that the legislator continues to push for government interference in Kansasans' private medical decisions. Ms. Kelly vetoed similar bills in each of the last 2 years, and lawmakers had previously failed to override it. Now, I find it very odd. It's disappointing that the legislator is pushing for government interference in their private medical decisions of the citizens of Kansas. Well, hold up. Let's talk about this, because I think that's kind of a strong statement to make. So, if let's say, if you don't want the state to be involved at any level in the individual and their family, well, why do we have child abuse laws on the books then? Physical, mental, or emotional abuse means the infliction of physical, mental, or emotional harm or causing of deterioration of a child. It's like, I would consider mutilating a child an infliction of physical and mental and emotional harm. I believe it caused deterioration of the child. And I do believe it's exploiting a child that's health or emotional well-being is endangered. Physically, this person will never be, they are sterilized, most likely. They have been given hormones. If they're given puberty blockers, it is going to affect their bone density very, very badly. And at a point when you are supposed to grow as a person, you are not. Puberty is being delayed or it's being interfered with. I'd say physical abuse. Mentally, the child does not know what's going on. This child thinks this is normal. This child is being gaslit into believe that what they're going through is normal right now. No, having gender dysphoria is normal. Mutilating yourself because you have gender dysphoria is not normal. And the emotional harm is going to be caused over the long term. When that child wakes up and realizes, I'm never going to be able to have kids. I'm never going to be able to have a family of my own. I'm never going to really sexually be able to have a sexual relationship with another person on this planet. I think that checks all three of those boxes there. And I'm all about laws that protect the innocent. Whether it goes from an unborn child, whether it is a child that's already been born, regardless, I believe in protecting the innocent. And that's exactly what this bill does. In these Democrats, you think after they just got totally annihilated in the most recent presidential election, you think some of the Democrats would come around to some of these 80-20 issues. But nope, they're forcing themselves into the 20 category. They're taking a party and trying to shove it into something that 20% of Americans agree with. But This time, Republicans in both chambers were able to get this through. They were able to hit the 2/3 margin that is necessary to override the governor's veto. And this really comes on the heels of President Trump signing multiple executive orders. Really, the first one is to revoke federal funding for any institution that provides these types of this type of care, if you can even call it care, but this type of, for terms right now, I'm going to call it care. That type of care to a child. He was going to revoke federal funding, and then also didn't allow, in Title IX established that it is sex. It is not gender identity. It is the biological sex of a human. Number 3, he's protecting women in women's sports, not allowing mentally ill men to transition so they can play in those sports. You know, if they want to transition, if they want to say they're a boy or say they're a girl, fine, whatever. You're not going to be able to mutilate yourself, and you're not going to be able to compete against women when you have a physical advantage over those people. Now, obviously, Kansas has been, like we said, one of the few states where Republicans hold a significant power in the state, but didn't have a law on the book. According to a senator, I believe Senator Ty Masterson, today a supermajority of Kansas Senate declared that Kansas is no longer a sanctuary state for those procedures. Absolutely. This measure will ban hormone treatments, puberty blockers, transition surgeries for transgender patients younger than 18 years old. They described it as guarding young people from life-altering choices that they could later regret. Absolutely. Nail on the head. That is exactly it. Under the new law, doctors who provide these treatments to minors could lose their license and be sued by patients or their parents. 100% agree. We need to revoke their license. We need to make sure that there is no laws shielding liability from these people who decide to go ahead and break the law. Obviously, we know President Trump won this election in Kansas by, I believe, like 16 points. This makes sense. This is a policy that makes sense to enact in this state. And obviously, President Trump has done many other things, like we talked about, seeking to end federal funding for hospitals that provide those treatments, banning trans... Can you even call them? They're not trans women. They're mentally ill men, damn it. This move is also made to ban mentally ill men. I didn't know it was spelled trans women, but mentally ill men and from competing in women's sports. And they also have barred transgender women from serving openly in the military. These are the 80-20 issues, and this is why President Trump is becoming more and more popular. He is more popular, according to a CBS poll that they did recently. He is more popular than he ever has been. And the governor, she is going to throw this legislation will drive families, businesses, and healthcare workers out of our state. No, it's not. It's going to attract people to your state. Are you kidding me? Your economy is going to grow because more people are going to want to come to Kansas. And trust me, you're going to get voted out here soon. So, whatever. You just keep screaming and crying when you really have no power when there's a veto-proof majority in the legislature. It's as simple as that. I applaud these senators and these representatives from Kansas because obviously they tried to do this in years past. They didn't have a veto-proof majority at that time. Now they do. Kudos to them for taking care of business, for getting things done. Kudos to them for taking care of women, taking care of the vulnerable in our society. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments about all of this. That's going to wrap up our video for today. As always, like, share, subscribe for more if you like the content we're putting out. And until next time, friends,